welcome back, YouTubers, to another ROH wrestling review with us, the British Fist indeed. And you'll probably notice that we're in a different location, but don't worry, we'll be in the same location for the video after this, which will be our preview to Final Battle 2011. Make sure you guys subscribe below, of course, like this video and comment your thoughts on this edition of ROH Wrestling, and indeed your thoughts on Final Battle down in that comment section below.
And make sure you contact us in the links in the description below.
Oh, by the way, guys, in case you haven't noticed, I'm Mr. Parkin, and this guy sitting next to me is the one and only NJ.
What's up?
Let's get our thoughts on this go-home show going into Final Battle, NJ. We open up the show with comments from Eddie Edwards, talking about his new moveset and he's trying to counter Davey Richards. This is very short and sweet. It was short and sweet to the point where I thought, is it really needed? But I guess he had a match later, so it did make sense.
Things he was saying, I was with it, I liked it. So to be honest, for a quick open like that, I was satisfied with it.
Yeah, I liked how this show focused on the main event, because let's face it, they haven't had that much TV time. They've only had inside ROH, so it's nice to actually see them wrestle for once on a show, isn't it? The first match, we had Andy Ridge versus Eddie Edwards in... You have Truth Martini on commentary saying that he's a fan of Eddie Edwards and he wants him on his team. And you know what? It seems strange to me that this is Eddie Edwards' first match since Dan Severn was his trainer. And I'm thinking, well, shouldn't he be on TV a little bit more often, considering he is the main event of the pay-per-view? And that's just one of the things I was thinking during this match.
It was kind of thinking that, well, I like the Truth Martini coming out. That was interesting, that's adding more to the main event.
Yeah, possible heel turn.
Yeah. And I think the match itself, though,
it was a little bit too competitive in my opinion, especially when you have a number one contender going up against a jobber. 6-minute match, you kind of expect Eddie Edwards to squash this guy in a couple of minutes, considering he's going after the belt soon.
Yeah, I agree with that, but it was a good flowing match. Yeah. They worked well against each other, so unless other than the competitiveness, yes. The flow was nice.
Yes, Eddie Edwards showed his new submission moves, which I think was needed in this. So I still think they should have had him on TV wrestling a lot more before the pay-per-view anyway, so we could actually showcase this a little bit more rather than just on the go-home show. But basically Eddie Edwards wins in about 6 minutes, wins with the Dragon Sleeper, which is the move that Dan Severn has been teaching him, and then we have Truth Martini applauding him after the match. Oh, what a match you had there, son, what a match.
Before it goes one, again, the match I was quite satisfied with. Yeah. I was happy with this. Good opener.
After that opener then, which was pretty decent, I guess. It depends on how you look at it, really. We had footage of the Briscoes route to the number one contendership. We also got to sort of an insight into their feud with the World's Greatest Tag Team and the Briscoes. ANX's Proving Ground win. We found out that Benjamin is going to be wrestling with a cracked rib. Now, I have two things about this. First of all, it was quite long. And it was quite it did drain you a little bit, the thing. But the thing is, we are on the go-home show, and I guess if this is their opportunity, was this a good way of trying to get last-minute viewers? Because for me, it was a little bit boring and a little bit long, but at the same time, it did show the history. But I think they could have done it a little bit better.
Well, the way I see it, again, yes, it's a go-home show. You need to obviously hype up their match. Yeah. But I would have picked up the main spots, not the whole story.
Exactly.
Of it. And I thought that really dragged on. It was good to see, but there was something that I thought you don't need to see.
Exactly. Some of the stuff was very outdrawn, and it just really took away from the importance of the segment. But still, I guess it's hyping up the tag team match, which is the second. It's probably, I guess, the second most important match on that card. It's unfortunate though that on ROH they can't fit enough in to really so we can see everything on the go-home show. They only have an hour slot, which is a bit of a shame because they do need to, like, you know, make sure the last-minute hype goes. And they've actually finally announced that tag team match as well, which you know wasn't announced for the last, you know. So yeah, there we go. We also had an inside ROH segment, the final battle countdown again. Another segment after what we just had. It's just that after we just had that segment, it was kind of just like, oh my god.
I was at this moment in time when it comes to ROH. I was hoping for a good flow of matches. Yeah. They went inside ROH, and I thought, okay, don't be long. Have a match
between this, you know, match between that segment and this segment. Just have a match involving someone at the pay-per-view. You know, they announced the Gauntlet tag match and all the other relevant matches, which was good. It's nice, simple. You know, it's something that WWE and TNA do a lot. They announced their pay-per-view matches on the Go-Home show, which was nice. We basically got a recap of the Edwards and Richards Best in the World match and the feud and the segments that Richards have been in on TV and some of Eddie Edwards as well. You know, again, but it was very drawn out and they didn't really pick out the important bits. It was just like they showed too much.
I think with Inside ROH and the tag team thing, they did show a bit too much, and it kind of took your feeling away from the match we just opened up with till now. So, as much as they needed to do this Inside ROH just to hype stuff up, I think they maybe overdone it.
Should have had a match this week, shouldn't they?
Would have been better.
It just didn't help it just didn't help it that much that we just had a segment and then we just had another one, and it was kind of like, oh, really? Do you know what I mean? So for me, it kind of dragged, even though I thought it was relevant, and it's probably the best video package maybe they've done to hype this match, because all the other ROH segments sucked, with Eddie Edwards and David Richards just talking. Actually got to see something. But I guess, you know, it did drag on, and that's the problem with these Inside ROH segments, isn't it? People are going to, I'm sorry, but mainstream audiences coming in, they're going to tune out.
Just very quickly, because their interest would have dropped quite quickly with all these video packages.
A main event of the evening was a proving ground match between Davey Richards and Michael Elgin. I expected this to be a good match, as I'm a fan of Michael Elgin. Main event of the evening, it got a 20-minute time limit. Match went about 19 minutes. Richards wins with a sunset flip. I'll admit I fell asleep during this match, but that's because I was absolutely knackered, so I'm going to leave you to NJ. You're going to do a little commentary on this now.
Well, I found this a really interesting match. It got better as the match went on, obviously, as they got more paced. You get to see the strength of Michael Elgin. They were just quick-minded. They would not give up throughout the whole match. There was many spots when you thought Michael Elgin could actually win this. They had the Truth Martina get involved, and how David just took him out, so it was just a one-on-one match. Really interesting match. Built to the very end. The ball at the end, the sunset flip was interesting. So you just think, is this going to be the end? Is this going to be the end? Very nice done that.
What do you think about a proving ground match being on the Go Home show? You know, a chance for Michael Elgin to get a title shot. I think, because in my opinion, I don't really know why they did a proving ground match right before the pay-per-view and had an opportunity for another guy to win the title when he's already got a number one contender. I was thinking, you know, this is a little bit odd to me, that's all.
It would have been better if it was just like a clean match, just to have two strengths maybe, instead of having this
Michael Elgin, what, proving ground match?
Proving ground. I think they use it on the Go Home shows. It's not actually doing too much to pay-per-view.
Well, I mean, I guess at least it gets Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards on TV. And when's the last time we could say that on an ROH show? Considering it's their main event, they have barely showed these guys on TV.
No.
In a way that could excite people.
But the ending of the whole thing, the match was awesome, but the ending was awesome.
The ending was pretty much what made this segment, in my opinion. After the match, you had Michael Elgin beating down on Davey Richards. Then you had Eddie Edwards coming out, and basically what happens is Elgin flings Richards into the belt when Eddie Edwards is holding it, and you get this tension between Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards. This is what I've been wanting to see for a while now. Some tension between these two, so you can actually build something going into the IPP. Why don't they do this fucking sooner?
It was a clever way of doing it, I think, because obviously, how are we going to get these two to have their roundup ready for the pay-per-view? And the way they did it, a hit with the belt, awesome.
I just think they should have done this a lot sooner, rather than just the Go Home show, and then use the Go Home show to fuel that feud. But Eddie Edwards puts the Dragon Sleeper on Richards, the move that he's been learning from Dan Severn, so that fits into the story well. I did like the aftermath of this match. The match itself was good too, obviously. You know, with ROH you're going to get great main events. But the post-match is what made this segment and helped going into the pay-per-view. What were your overall thoughts on the show and this main event?
The matches, thumbs up. Yeah. I enjoyed them. The video packages, they kind of took my grade down because they dragged on. Interesting to see if they dragged on.
You know, ROH fans out there always complain about WWE and TNA using too much filler. Well, look what your show is showing. How much filler is your show showing? I'm just saying, that's all I'm going to say about that. To me, the show, like I said, the matches are good, the main event segment was good, I like the interaction between Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards, I like the way the show focused on the main event, mostly on the main event, but the video, come on guy, come on ROH. You can do better with these video packages. You can get video packages that really entice people into watching the iPay-per-view, because I really don't see why anyone else other than an ROH fan would want to watch this iPay-per-view. I'm just saying.
Again, this is the whole thing's building up to the pay-per-view, and they've done their best, but maybe, again, the interest in it has been dropped in a few places.
Maybe so, but that's just our opinion, of course, on this ROH TV show. If you guys have any thoughts on this Ring of Honor TV show, make sure you get them down in that comment section below, of course. And now we'll proceed. We'll go to a different location now, the usual British Fist location, and do our final battle preview.
So after our ROH TV show, after that Go Home show review, we're going to be doing our ROH Final Battle 2011 preview. Now, going into this IPV, as you're more of a newer fan to ROH, what are your thoughts on the build going into what is essentially the culmination of the TV shows and also the biggest pay-per-view of ROH's calendar year?
Well, with their one show,
yeah,
I think they've had to do their best they could. So I think with what they've done, they've tried to hype up, but I think with the main event matches, they could have done better.
I think the main event match is a big mishap for ROH in the way they built it up. But generally, watching the TV shows, they have tried. I mean, there are what, 4 or 5? There are like 3 or 4 matches on here that haven't really been officially announced, which is a little bit disappointing. We got the title matches announced and the whole Kevin Steen thing, and sort of the Roderick Strong thing announced. But overall, as a guy who likes ROH, I am looking forward generally to what I'm seeing on this card. There's a little bit of filler in there, but there's a lot of things in there that I am actually looking forward to. I just think the issue is what are the mainstream and bigger markets going to be watching in this? And I think that's going to be an issue for ROH. And I don't think their pay-per-view buy rates will be as big as they think from the TV show, because I'm not sure they've really done the right sort of thing to draw in newer viewers. It's all been seemingly aimed at ROH fans that were already there, rather than aiming at bigger markets.
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, should we go straight into the preview? Right, okay. The first match we have on the card is going to be Tommaso Ciampa versus Jimmy Rave in a singles match. Now, we've seen Tommaso Ciampa in squash matches, generally on TV. This isn't really a feud, but to me, it's the kind of match that you're putting Tommaso Ciampa up against like a name in the indie scene, and he's going to continue the streak, isn't he?
Pretty much. I don't see it going either way.
No, it's going to be Tommaso Ciampa, isn't it?
It should be.
Next match we have is Michael Elgin with Truth Martini versus TJ Perkins. Now, we've seen Elgin and Perkins win matches on TV. Again, there's no feud here. This just feels like filler and a way to get Michael Elgin and Perkins on the card. I don't see anyone else other than Michael Elgin winning, and I do think that is the right winner. I would have liked to have seen Michael Elgin in a program, because I think 2012 could be a big year for him. But at least he's getting an iPay-per-view match, and he's going to win. He's got to win.
I think it should be an okay match between these two, but I'm thinking it's more Elgin, because obviously, in my opinion, he's got the bigger name out there.
Yeah, and a guy like TJ Perkins is just a typical boring ROH guy. We'd rather see someone like Elgin who's a bit different move up in the card. The next match we have is a match that I think we're both looking forward to. We've seen loads of tag matches on the TV show between people in here. We have the Young Bucks versus Future Shock versus Caprice Coleman and Cedric Alexander versus the Bravados versus the All Night Express for a future shot at the ROH World Tag Team Championship match. Now, the first thing I want to mention here is, didn't All Night Express just win a Proving Ground match? So why are they? I really do argue why they're in this match.
Well, I'm thinking that, again, if they win this, it becomes disappointing, because they've got 2 shots there in their bag, so they could have a bigger chance of winning it. So I think it should go to someone else. After
seeing what all of these tag teams pretty much on TV in the past couple of weeks, this wasn't announced, but I'm still looking forward to this. As 5 great tag teams in ROH, it's going to be a good gauntlet match. I mean, we remember the Bravados, Future Shock, and Young Bucks match at the Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view was a very good freeway elimination, and I expect this to be more of the same.
Well, when it comes to tag teams in ROH, they do brilliant jobs. The matches are entertaining. So for this one to have more than 1 tag team in it, I think it's going to be a good match overall.
Who do you think will win? I'm thinking the Young Bucks. I don't want All Night Express to win.
No, again, as much as I'm a fan of the All Night Express, I'm thinking the way it's adding up, the Young Bucks should maybe get the win here.
Just because of their heel turn, the way they won on TV, so we never know. I'd like Future Shock to win as well, but who really knows? Get a 2 new tag team in that tag team title division. We've seen the Briscoes and West Coast tag team too many times now. Right, Roderick Strong versus, we don't know, in a Roderick Strong challenge. Again, this hasn't really been built up too fantastically. This just seems like another way to get Roderick Strong on the card. They've had all these backstage promo segments of him where he's been talking at Camp Strong. But who would you think would come in? I think a guy like Nigel McGuinness. I do think either Nigel McGuinness will come back for one last match, as we saw that face-off between him at the start of the TV show, or they might use this to bring in a new talent, maybe? I'm trying to think.
I'm thinking, as I'm not really too into this, because obviously I'm not a huge ROH fan, I'm going to say it'd be good if it's a new wrestler to bring them in, give them a big name, a big intro, because they go against Roderick Strong.
Exactly. I think it could be a Nigel McGuinness, as he's just had a retirement tour, so who really knows? We'll see what happens. This match next is one that we're very much looking forward to. It's Kevin Steen versus Steve Corino in a singles match with Jimmy Jacobs as a special guest referee. If Kevin Steen wins, he's reinstated. If he loses, he leaves TNA. Well, not TNA, sorry, ROH. I made another John Laurinaitis bosh there. Carry on.
The way I see it is that this match, again, has only been hyped up these last few weeks in video packages, and then they had their in-ring segment. And the way it was done, just that one in-ring segment, it's very good, nicely done. They've said how the match is going to go, who's going to be there, and how important it is to Kevin Steen.
When you're a guy like, when you know the history between these two, when you have the whole Steve Corino making the Kevin Steen turn on El Generico, and the history between these two, and the way they brought Kevin Steen back in by making him appear at IE pay-per-views, and he's been gone for a year. it's just a big culmination of all this build that they've had, and they have done it very well. It's the kind of thing they probably should have done with CM Punk, and maybe make him leave a little bit longer. But I am generally looking forward to this match just because it's Kevin Steen, and I do expect Kevin Steen to win this match and move up the card into that main event scene at some point in 2012, because ROH need it. They need a guy like Kevin Steen as the face of their TV show.
Well, the way Kevin Steen's been speaking about the importance of him in ROH, I think he needs to win this to relive or to do exactly what he said he's going to do.
And ROH needs to do it just to get some new viewers in. Just saying. So that should be the most interesting match. Might not be the best match, but it's the most interesting one for us as more mainstream fans. Now we have the title matches. We have a three-way dance for the ROH Television Championship. We have God damn, I just puked a little bit in my mouth. Jay Lethal versus El Generico versus Mike Bennett. Mike Bennett will be accompanied by Maria Kanellis. Wow. That's a good way to get people watching this pay-per-view, in my opinion. What do you think of this match, then?
Again, I haven't really been following too much because most of it was done during inside ROH things.
There was a lot of TV segments of it, though, like, the title matches, Bennett's title match, El Generico's rematch, Jay Lethal winning the title.
Well, the way I see it, Jay Lethal's probably going to retain here, I'm thinking, because obviously I just think he's in his promos he's been more out there and built himself up more towards this match.
And plus, I do think he needs to win it personally, but I would like Mike Bennett to win it just because he's more of a character. To have him the face of the TV championship would be a good move for him. He could be a good heel, especially in ROH where they love wrestling and he's not exactly the best wrestler. What a great heel that would be. Personally, I'd love to see Mike Bennett win this title. I know a lot of people won't, so I'm probably bash my opinion on this, but guys, Mike Bennett is a character and could draw new people into the TV show. So I would like to see Mike Bennett win, but I feel Jay Lethal will probably retain.
That's what I see.
The next match we have is the Wrestling's Greatest Tag Team, Charlie Austin, Shelton Benjamin versus the Briscoe Brothers, Jay and Mark Briscoe. Now, I know we've seen this a lot of times before, but you've got World's Greatest Tag Team there who are a name, which is the right team to put the tag titles on. I don't care what people say out there about their ability to wrestle. They're a name, and that is what ROH need. And you've got the Briscoe Brothers, who are essentially one of ROH's biggest tag teams. So this has been built up well, I think.
Well, the way I see this match is that it's World's Wrestling's Greatest Tag Team, and the way they perform, they do good spots, and they actually work extremely well together. This is a match I'm looking forward to. The Briscoes, again, they've had their attacks on Wrestling Great Tag Team in their shows. It's all adding up over the last couple of weeks to what I think is going to be a good match.
And it's all been adding up since Best in the World. I remember when we watched Best in the World and the Briscoes attacked World's Greatest Tag Team. It's all really been building up since then, especially on the TV show. So this is one of the better built feuds, in my opinion, in the fact that they've used sort of simple booking to really get Briscoes over as a heel. Unfortunately, I think the crowd are reacting very well to Briscoes, and you never know, they may even do a World's Greatest Tag Team heel turn. I personally think, I don't really know, I'm not really sure about this match. I think World's Greatest Tag Team may retain because they've had this long title run, but I also think the Briscoe Brothers could win the championship because of the reaction they've been getting lately.
Well, what I've been saying earlier is that I mainly think the champs are going to retain, so I think this may be a championship match where the titles change. The Briscoes could win here.
It should be a good match, though.
It should be.
Definitely so. And then we get to the main event. Oh dear, ROH made this the main event. Well, I'm not surprised. It's Davey Richards versus Eddie Edwards for the ROH World Championship. Now, these guys had a great match at Best in the World. We can't deny that. But the way this feud has been built up, it's so boring. It's such a typical ROH feud. Like, no real story, two boring-ass ROH typical guys, typifies their main event scene at the moment. I think these guys are putting on a great match. It will never get better than the Best in the World match. It'll be a good match. But do I think this has been built up very well, or do I think they've got people from outside of ROH to care about this match? No.
No, and I'm going to just say now is this match. It's not a match that I'm most looking forward to out the card.
I'm least looking forward to this one out of all the title matches and the Steam match personally. But yeah, I mean they have good chemistry together. The story was there at Best in the World, but it's kind of really lost a lot of steam. I expect Davey Richards to retain. Eddie Edwards with Dan Severn. The way they've done this with those inside ROH segments is just stupid. They've not exactly put these guys out on TV a great amount, have they?
No, they haven't. And again, for new people to get into, because that's what the TV shows were about, and I haven't really got behind these, so I think they've done a bad job with this.
Same here, especially seeing as it's the main event and everything. But I don't know. I mean, it would be a good match, but I just don't think the build, or I don't really see why anyone other than ROH fans would get behind it personally. So You've heard our thoughts on the iPay-per-view. What are you? Do you think this could be a good? I mean, I feel this could be a good iPay-per-view. Personally, it will have great wrestling. It just depends what other nuts and bolts they do, and I do wonder if the TV show will bring in new people and whether it's helped build. But it will be the first TV. It will be the first ROH pay-per-view we watch which has had build that we can see.
Well, what I'm going to say is that for it being the first one, I'm hoping for good stuff. But
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, my liking will come probably at the next pay-per-view when I've seen more build following on from this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So all I'd say is that I'm hoping for the best, but I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I like the card. I like a lot of aspects of ROH, but some of the stuff they haven't done well is the build in that main event and not announcing matches for the iPay-per-view and making people other than ROH fans care. And I think that's why this iPay-per-view probably won't get as many buy rates as ROH expect, even with their TV show. So yeah, those are our opinions on the iPay-per-view. It could be good, it could be bad, we don't really know. Get your opinions on this iPay-per-view and indeed ROH's TV show that we've just reviewed in the past clip down in that comment section below. And MJ, with that Christmas tree behind us, do your stuff.
People, hopefully you'll enjoy the pay-per-view, because obviously give your thoughts on what you think about the build, the matches we're getting, and the TV show we've just covered in the comment section below. And that has been it from the British Fist, Mr. Parkin, and me, NJ. Thank you very much, and goodbye.